Welcome back to the Two Thrones. Anyway, now that we have kind of familiarized with the prince's, dark side companion, which we're gonna have to
Prince of
carry.
Persia 2.
But again, Jova, the edge is actually entertaining this time around, surprisingly.
Yeah, because we're
And new type of trap,
Wow.
regular, darts throw at you. You need to
give the
get
Vizier
the timing
this.
better.
He's not slumping on security.
Yeah. Remember, all this shit also was in Babylon in the first place, so we just
True.
got escaped from the sewers. Here's the thing. The Sands have mutated all the army that was in Babylon. I mean, not our armies, the army of that Vizier came with. So now they're all technically the Sand zombies, similar to the ones of the first game.
But hey, they're bad guys, so this time we're more okay with
Yeah, and there you go. That's why also they dissolve in sand like that.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a game excuse to not give you any more bodies on the floor like at the beginning.
Yeah, we're not trying to be ultra grim dark edgy anymore, we swear.
Well, you do have an option again of turning the blood on and off, and occasionally you get some of it. But it's
Still, it
only
makes more
in
sense,
between,
though.
and you don't get any more the whole, stupid slow-mo fatality. Hold on.
Something was woken within. Something strange and cunning. Something dark.
Something dark
7
side.
years spent on the run had embittered the prince and made him hard. This burden sustained his other half, gave it strength. The prince was tempted to do as it said, for it was a light in the darkness, offering comfort and guidance to a man who had just lost everything.
Of course.
But what were its intentions? Why did it help him?
Well, we will need to wait for
Only
that,
time will
Karina.
tell.
But
Imagine
yeah,
like, she was giving if she was doing that spiel and then he fell and died.
yeah.
The
It actually can happen, Lives. Don't worry.
The prince wondered where everyone had gone. And then he also
But
wondered.
the point
and then he
is,
also wondered at what point exactly did he lose his footing?
but essentially, that's the point. The gist of it is that apparently the dark side originated from that. The reason why the prince was this angsty doing Warrior Within was because of the years where he spent by being chased down by the Dahaka.
So let me guess.
Anyway, hold on, we're about to get a cutscene after this save point. Go ahead in the meantime, Java.
So, but the Haka's the reason that his dark side got created because of some
Essentially,
radiation
frustration and
Continue the
stress.
story from here
Ah.
Anyway, let's see. We introduced a new element.
Babylon.
Yeah, that's where we need to go, the Tower of Babylon.
As a
probably.
child, father would tell me stories
Pay
about...
attention. Something's happening down there.
Now the prince was about to monologue, but the dark side nope.
Like, yes, shut up. We got some important stuff to do here.
Alright, these are portals, but it's not for us.
Is that... It's the Vizier!
Yeah,
He's been
quite the
completely
change.
transformed.
Interesting.
But
He's used the power
What
of
King's
dark
Quest
to
game was the
transform
Vizier
his
in?
army.
six.
Artifacts
Six,
to allow him to transport
What the
across
hell?
the city with
Is
ease.
did he become a Final Fantasy character?
Control.
Pretty much.
Things do not look too good for you at the moment.
Essentially, it's too powerful at the moment, and he's using these portals to travel through the town. So our goal is, as soon as you see a portal, you need to use the dagger of time to seal it.
Let me guess, if you don't seal it, he'll be able to use it.
Okay.
Not necessarily, but they can be used for reinforcement. Essentially, your gist of it is that you need to kill all the enemies in the area, including the gatekeeper, essentially the guy with the red costume armor thing. If you don't, this guy, what I mean, this guy will be constantly summoning more reinforcement from the portal itself, so that's clearly a problem.
And let
Okay,
me guess, once you destroy a gate, you get to collect its sand, so that's pretty much your incentive for destroying it.
Yeah, you gain a new power in the gate to constantly refuse you with sand, essentially.
So the only reason to not destroy it is if you're doing one of those Nuzlocke kind of runs.
Actually, no, you're required to in order to progress the game. Here's the positive thing. The secondary weapon of the gatekeeper constantly refuses your sand meter. So as long as you have it on your possession, you're good to go when it comes to the sand powers. The problem is, as soon as you transform... Hold on.
Well, that certainly went according to plan, did it not?
Of course.
You really should know by now that entering portals made of sand only leads to trouble.
Simply have to resort to a more
They get
traditional form
everywhere.
of transport.
Yeah, he was,
Hopefully with greater
the priest was
success.
hoping to use it the way you described, Jova, but unfortunately that didn't work. Anyway, as I mentioned, the trade-off is that as soon as you become the Dark Prince, you lose the weapon that you were equipped with, the secondary weapon. So obviously, it's not a thing that you can. This second weapon, it's not a thing that you can carry on all the time.
I guess
Sure,
the
My
effect
only
we're going
gripe
for.
is I mean, it's sort of a shame that you can't choose when you want to become the Dark Prince or not.
Yeah, it's actually it's actually scripted for gaming, and later on there's an entire sequence that plays with that in a sense that you're trapped in a section as the Dark Prince and you don't really have a lot of sand to work with, so it's a race against time.
For as
get
many
the
issues
effect
as
they're going for
Spider-Man
with the,
3's video game tie-ins had, I did appreciate that for the most part, except for a few select sections. You could choose whether or not you wanted to play as regular Spider-Man or Black Suit Spider-Man, and they even made cutscenes based off of which you were playing as at that section.
I get the effect they're going for with the voice for the inner demon that he has. Yeah, but it sounds like it sounds like the guy was recording it in his bathroom.
Well, that's the idea, I guess. Echo.
Yeah, it's like, I can just hear the flushing of the toilet behind him.
Okay, I know.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
I know that Ubisoft and Square Enix are buddies, but this is starting to get ridiculous. Now we have Viziers in this series turning into
Whatever. Beast. That's
Turning
just
into
putting
the one-winged
beast on.
angel.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like a hybrid between a scorpion and a butterfly.
I mean, could you actually imagine if Ubisoft and Square Enix made a full-fledged game together?
Yeah, I could see it at this point, honestly.
Super
I mean,
Rayman
I-
RPG.
Or hey, maybe a crossover between Assassin's Creed and Final Fantasy.
Oh wait.
We already had that 2 times actually.
Yep.
A full one, I guess.
Now all we need is just a full game at this point.
There we go. I just need to take out this enemy and then I'm good to go.
Oh,
Forward.
haha! Guard, parry, dodge, spin, flip, thrust.
There you go. There you go. Even the fatality is more subdued in this case. See?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
more
falls
like
apart, but then he vanishes into the sand.
And it doesn't have all the blood squirting and organ visible. Like, I don't mind. I mean, if you've seen our videos, you know that just like Pedro, I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat, so I'm not like to say, oh, violence in video game is bad. It's just that in World Within was relatively out of place, so...
I mean, it's not like it was as extreme as when that BMX
Tomb Raider.
series. No. I was going to do something different. Actually, it's not as extreme as when that BMX series from Acclaim all of a sudden tried to be all XXX and that.
Yeah.
What?
What?
There was a BMX series for that Acclaim did in the late 90s, early 2000s, but Acclaim was in such dire straits by a certain point that they decided to make one of their BMX game installments into an adult game.
Yeah, and
Because of...
How
It's
so?
kind of the reverse situation of Carmageddon 64.
yeah.
They had
curious,
they had a bit of blood. They had more dancing women and all that in bikinis, etc.
Kind of
for a
like
racing game.
how Compile Heart makes all their characters lolly girls with big boobs to distract the fact that their games are not very good, basically.
I'll get the Wikipedia page up for you.
Oh, here we
Anyway.
go again.
With not just that. It's not even just that. Just to add to what Theo was saying. Oh, sorry. Cutscene.
No, don't worry. Keep going. I'll tell you if something important happens.
God, that look for you looks terrible. What I was saying was, to add to what Theo was saying, again, you can have as much violence in your game as you want, as long as there's proper context where that violence makes sense with what the game is going for, instead of just being gratuitous violence for the sake of gratuitous violence, which is, again, the problem with Tomb Raider that Theo mentioned is not so much that it's the violence, it's more so that the violence is completely without any context and just comes across as gratuitous.
Oh, listen to your context. You fall on a spike and it goes up your head.
I know this, but never has Tomb Raider been like that before, so...
Imagine, okay, Dweebs, to contrast the goofiness, you have to remember also that this is a franchise, well, Tomb Raider, this is a franchise that in the first game had a T-Rex for your first boss. Like out of nowhere, a T-Rex.
Again, it's not the first time Tomb Raider tried to be more.
Yeah,
here's
but
the thing, though,
edgy.
the
But that's the
reboot
thing.
just got
Imagine if Sonic
gratuitous
tried
with
to do
it.
something like that.
Like, seriously. For all much that we complain about the darker Sonic games, they've never gotten to the point where we wouldn't be able to recognize it. Like, heck, even Sonic 06, for its, for its attempts to be
It's
more
bad,
good.
but it's a Sonic bad game.
And you can still
I'm
recognize
gonna have
it.
to-
Yeah, Tomb Raider technically is a Tomb Raider.
I'm gonna have to reset, guys. The video's going all over the place, and the connection is too.
Wonderful.
Is
Do we
it?
not have enough
Well,
to
this
deal
was
with
this also
already?
happened earlier before we started, so yeah, go ahead, Deuce.
Last of Sonic.
This is apparently having an off day, basically.
It's internet connection. So fine.
Apparently, yeah.
But yeah, continuing what I was saying, it's like, I'll give the Sonic series this. It's never gotten to the point where it's like blood and gore.
Yeah.
Whereas
Even
again,
when
so
Sonic
many
gets
games,
stabbed,
like,
the only real problem is that again, Sonic gets stabbed in that game, and yet there's no actual hole of any sort. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad, but at the same time, it makes this it completely breaks any kind of immersion that scene could have possibly had. Aside from
now compare this to say Jack 2, which is just we have to be as angsty, unpleasant as possible as we want.
yeah.
And let's have Jack speak, but only through a torturous experiment that did stuff to him.
I don't know. I didn't even have a problem with Naughty Dog, with Andy and Jancis trying to do a more darker cartoony game. I just wish they would at the very least did a new IP with it instead of just like, because the first
Or
Jack.
like we started it with. Anyway, hold on, give me a second, because now it's time to introduce a new gameplay mechanic.
Go ahead.
Kart racing. And I mean a literal kart.
Wait, excuse me. Right.
No freaking way.
No, I mean a literal, go-kart, but a literal horse cart. Chariot, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, great. Now we're doing Ben-Hur.
Sort of. You'll see.
Are you sure you can control this thing?
Sure, why not?
Shows you.
Let us hope. If I crash,
Alright,
it is
hold
the end
on.
for both
It's
of us.
important.
So is this?
Yeah.
What time are you guys
I
up?
wonder who's inside that cage. Go to 30 minutes.
And so
okay?
once more the prince began the journey.
I guess it's the one
His mind
important.
of fire with vision
Let's just
of
move on.
justice
It's
and
fair,
visited
isn't
upon
it?
the vizier.
Anyway, this section I have I'm about two minds about this. On one, they're relatively fun to control, but you can lose control relatively easily.
I'm at 1347.
Okay, well, it's gonna get it's gonna take a bit, so behave. But as soon as you manage to gist the control, it's actually quite fun to control. By the way, I don't know, Sumo Digital, go make a Bloodborne card. We need it.
Yeah.
We
Woo!
scripted the cutscenes.
But still awesome looking for the time.
I'm sure it does not.
Occasionally enemies try to get onto you, but you can just, repel them like that. And you get some small branching paths, but the difference is relatively minimal. Of course you can get this. We're almost there, Blitz, don't worry. And in fact, you still have your time rewind powers.
Feels
So.
like a section right out of Hog Wild there.
Alright, 47, right?
Yep.
Alright, almost there. Don't worry, you have only missed gameplay-wise. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, click.
Behind that column.
When another enemy goes tries to temper you, just need to push it onto an obstacle like that. All right, let's see if we can. The priest can make it.
Did he just say hold your horses?
Yeah.
So it wasn't funny when Star Trek 5 did it.
There you go. The wheel just pushed.
So if I understood it correctly, it seems like the Princess Darkside is basically going to be the Grimoire Vice of this
Its
game.
inhabitants
Kinda,
either
but
dead
more
or fled.
malicious, obviously.
Those left behind suffered terribly, captured, tortured, and transformed. But the prince did not notice this. So focused was he on the vizier.
Okay. Let's just move on. Anyway, yeah, again, essentially what you lost is at the chariot section, which are gonna be like, I think our two sections are gonna be like that in the game. So it's not that intrusive as a new gameplay mechanic, but
And at least it seems fun anyway.
it's a change of pace, honestly.
Honestly, a game can have genres so long as they're fun still.
And they're, you know,
I'm impressed.
not a chore to control.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Your opinion
Yeah,
means a great
and I
deal
would like
to
to adding to that, if you don't mind.
that how you thank the
It
man
also
who
has
just
to
saved
make
your life?
sense within
First,
the context
you
of the
did not
game at
save my
large.
life.
Yeah, hence why it's okay with Sonic
You are
Adventure
not
2,
a
because it
man.
makes sense
Just a
context-wise.
disembodied voice.
Whereas there was something like
Ghost.
Crash, Free Warped, I'll admit
never
that game's
asked
kind
for
of
your
aged.
help.
a
It
bit
was fitting
with
the time
genre.
period, and honestly, Joe,
While I
I'm
admire
with.
your bravado,
Hold on.
you would be wise to show some respect.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
You would be wise
Yes,
to keep
indeed. Show respect
Um,
to Prince of Persia 2.
But that's the
Warrior
thing,
with
Joe. Again, keep in mind of my opinion as a non-exactly big Sonic interest to begin with. But I'm kind of with. I think it was Johnny
Johnny.
who said it that. Hold on. That tail sections don't make a lot of sense because we shouldn't
Not
need
really.
to be in the mech.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And that's well, to be fair, Teo, that kind of is explained by something that happened behind the scenes, basically. Let's just say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, I remember the whole Tails was not supposed to be playable to
Yeah.
begin with, but I don't know.
Not just that,
And
the main problem, Job, is that, again, I'm going to have to agree with Johnny also for what he said in his LP of 06, in the sense that, to me, like, every single new gameplay style you add to a Sonic game still needs to have speed at the core, because speed is the primary element that separates Sonic from other platformers. And the big problem to me, and by extension Johnny, with the treasure hunting, is that, again, speed is not at the core. Yes,
Funnily
you can go
enough, but-
fast in it, don't get me wrong, yes, I know that you can technically go fast in it, because Knuckles and Rouge can run fast in that game, but speed is not...
It's kind of integral with the ones with a time limit as well.
That's the time limit, that's a cheap way of adding speed to it, but I meant like something like, you know, loops, you know, stuff like that, you know, actual stuff that involve the kind of stuff we see in the Sonic stages. Maybe.
But Pedro's max spectrum speed. There's a speed section, don't you know?
Oh, well, wait till you see. Oh, Teo, wait till I show you.
Okay.
Wait till I show you the very hard mode of Sonic 06.
You know, how weird is it that with Sonic 06, the genre roulette isn't there as badly?
Yeah,
yet
that's
even
yeah, that's.
still?
I agree.
I'll
That's
be quite
actually kind of
honest.
sad. Yeah.
I'll be quite honest though. I don't even really consider it a genre roulette because you're still doing platforming in those things. Like,
Yeah.
in order for it to be a genre roulette, actually, you would have to like be switching to first-person shooting or
Yeah,
all
but
that jazz.
The primary problem with
Well,
Silver is that
again,
he has
again,
no
again,
speed
again.
whatsoever.
I will say that there is technically speed, but I get your point. Adventure 1 definitely did it better, though. Because, like, I mean, even with Gamma stages, Gamma speeds up if you move around enough.
And there's
Is that
actually
supposed to be a glitch?
No,
it's intentional. I
He literally
think
says mode change when he does it.
Yeah.
That's a gameplay mechanic.
it's meant to be too. Not just
I'm surprised they didn't include the dash mechanic actually for the mech stages in Adventure 2 because they're essentially Gamma's stuff.
Oh, right,
it's
no,
not
I
even
got
just that.
confused with Omega.
It's
Sorry.
not even just that. The main problem I have, and trust me, now that I finished the playthrough for the channel, I'm very fresh in my mind with it. My main Silver is my least favorite character to play as in 06. Why? Because
Join the club.
it's because the problem with Silver, even when you get all his skills, his gameplay consists of nothing but pick up stuff, throw at enemies, pick up stuff, throw at enemies, pick up stuff, throw at enemies.
And do puzzles.
I can sum up the major problem with Silver. He's the sole playable character in a Sonic game who relies on projectiles that you don't have on your person.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have to say a lot to say about that.
Let me put it like this. Even with Tails and Omega, they have ammo of their own that you can procure. Silver,
Whatever it is, it will
you
continue
have
until
to
you
have a
defeated
projectile
the
that you
Vizier.
get from the
We cannot help
overfield.
these people.
Let us make haste.
But hey, let's not talk about that schlock right
Yeah,
now. Let's
that's
talk
the
about
time
this
to
good
play.
game here.
Yeah, essentially, if you may have seen it in the background, but essentially, the sand soldiers are now capturing and torturing the remaining inhabitants of Babylon. So the prince is like, should I do something? And the dark side is like, no, you should technically focus on your quest because otherwise you'll not be able to save it. Yeah, here's the cool thing: if more enemies are close to each other, you're able to do a more complex but more effective combo takedown. Essentially, you can, if you manage to time better your all your your peak time events, you can technically finish them on more quickly and in a go. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah. Stealth kill.
There we go. Let's see what. Yeah, some. Some portals just give you sand credits. I don't really understand why. It's simple, I guess.
You have gained credits.
Sand credits.
Which, again, it's only used for a metal level, so I don't understand why would they give you that. But whatever. Point is, seal everything and get moving. Anyway, yeah, see, there's another thing that I forgot to mention. You also lost a part. Essentially, while the prince was running with the carriage, he accidentally, killed 2 enemies, but were carrying a cage. And apparently there was someone inside, but it was probably just a civilian, so, don't mind it too
Again,
much.
I'm guessing it's Farah.
Well, we'll see, Joe. Yeah. Also, the good thing about the stealth in this game is that, one, you don't get a lot of enemies in the same area like Warrior Within. And second, it allows a more slower and methodical pace. You can still choose the Leroy Jenkins combat and go forward and slash everything, but it takes if the game rewards you if you decide to take your time and go full stealth on the enemies. So there is that, at least. Anyway, let's go here. So essentially, and also you've seen before, also the game may have froze a bit, but if I recall correctly, I haven't counted any particular glitch. Oh god, this
again.
These actually
they look better detailed.
They're not explosive, fortunately. The problem instead is that these ones sucks away your sand slots. So you need to kill them quickly, because otherwise you will find yourself without sand powers. And that's a bit of a problem. Also, another thing, you cannot kill them normally. They function similar to the zombies of the first game. You need to roll them over by hitting them up, and then finishing them up with the Dagger of Time.
Makes sense.
The problem is that, Jova, later on you get a section where you're thrown against a couple of enemies of these enemies at the same time, and it comes a bit of annoying. Comes off as a bit of annoying. Anyway, this is another shortcut to another health upgrade. It's a bit less intuitive, but there you go. You just need to jump there, and on the other side, Theo, what are you doing? There you go. Theo, please. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You just need to jump there. Actually, I think I lost it, but whatever. The point is there was an health upgrade nearby. Again, not that I really need it, because the game is relatively, much like the previous one, the game is relatively doable. Even if you don't have all the app upgrades. Go ahead.
To quote one of our fair friends highlights, Theo loses his shit.
Well, I don't become
How
this
many
one.
highlights do we have for that game anyway at this point?
At least 3, if I remember.
3 parts, I think. Or is it 2?
I'll need to
Definitely.
3 or one of those 2. 3 or 2.
Definitely 3 at a minimum, I think. Let's see, one more.
One is the Lola attempted rape, molestation thing. Oh shit.
Oh, wait, you're talking about how many highlights we have. Oh, never mind, I misunderstood.
One can always
I think
break.
4.
Funny. Anyway, another cool introduction mechanic introduces that now instead of just swinging on the bars like an idiot, like I just did, you can actually stop and actually jump on them if you just stay still and press the X button, like what I'm about to do, hopefully. There you go. And you can use this to also reach levers like that.
helpful.
And also, again, as I mentioned, the more violent aspect, like in this case, actually fits with the tone of the Dark Prince, since he is the more edgy guy. So it makes sense for his attack to be more brutal and everything.
And even then, he strangles as opposed to drawing blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
whoops,
to
sorry about
say-
that. If I try again.
I have
Well,
to say,
that's the point of the game, Dweebs.
I have to say, this game
Yeah,
is
I know,
quite
I know, it's
possibly
being
one of the
developed.
best examples of how you address the problems with the previous installment while also giving...
And that's it for now for Dark Prince.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the best examples of how you incorporate and make better problems with the original title while also giving fans the satisfaction of managing
Again,
to stick into
Dropa,
it.
this game had to the responsibility of managing to resolve the mess, the clear mess that were within was.
Perhaps father is among
Oh, I
them.
get that, I get that.
I think it succeeded.
My main
But
clue-
we'll be the judge of that in due time.
Oh, they succeeded all right, at least for
Should
this,
I
and
continue
then they
from
did the
here
reboot,
and
but
return?
we'll get to
I
that
will
later.
continue
My point
my
is, like
story
Lemiko,
from here
even
next
still,
time.
Lemiko, they could have easily have just tried to retcon stuff out, but no,
Yeah.
instead, they incorporated it better. It's sort of like how Ace Attorney 5 actually holds on to plot elements from Ace Attorney 4 as opposed to just wiping the slate clean.
Anyway, in the next part, we'll continue to explore Babylon in order to search the prince's power, like he said. Yeah.
All right.
Alright, see ya.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.